Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. 2 minutes late, 3 minutes late, 4 minutes late, whatever. We're here. I had some stuff to take care of in a hurry at the last minute. You know how it goes. But I'm here, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So what's happening with you? Where are you? How are you? Who are you? When are you? What are you? I think I just confused myself. Anyway, it is a Wednesday, and we're going to have a good conversation tonight, mostly about you. I'm going to read your comments, add a few of my own, and we're going to talk about Christmas coming right around the corner. And I'm going to look up some words because I think it's time we do that. What do you say? Come join me. Take your shoes off. Set a spell. I'll keep a light on for you. I'm a little hoarse today. Shetland pony, to be exact. It's really cold outside. Not to be complaining because it's really colder other places. But here it's pretty cold. It's down in the low 30s. And this is my heater. So you know why it's cold. Burr. MBTV. I didn't see you snuck up on me there. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Somebody came in and went out. I guess they didn't like the idea. I love it. Well done intro. You like my intro? Thank you. I'm working on a new one for the other podcast, the Bible study. Shorter one. The one I have is pretty long. It's like 1 minute, 40 seconds, something like that. Maybe a little longer. So I need to cut it down. Your name came up in Sasquatch's stream last night. Did it? Phrasing. He was going to get you in on interpreting this long video on the lost books of the Bible. Oh, wow. I think I've seen that video. Popped up in my stream, I think. Was a video about like the book of Adam and Eve and the book of Thomas and the book of so-and-so, and Enoch was in there. And is that the video you're talking about? Oh, yeah, I've read some of those books. And some of them are fake, by the way. I fled. No need to flee. We can't all be Bible scholars. You know, some people are interested. They just don't have the wherewithal to know all the stuff. So that's where people like me come in. And I'll interpret. But never, ever, ever turn your back on somebody that's asking questions. Here's one thing we need to know as Christians. As a Christian, you must always be prepared to answer a question when asked. You know how I said the other night that it was your job to testify? I don't mean by that go knocking on doors. Have you met Jesus Christ? Or stopping people in their busy travels. I don't mean that. You should never cast your pearls before swine. If you know something that's really important, don't just give it away. Only give it to those who want to know it. So if somebody comes out of their way to ask you a question about something you believe, you should be prepared to answer that question. Otherwise, people always freak out when I tell them I'm a Christian. They're like, well, you never talk about it. I didn't know. Well, you never asked. What do you want me to do? Bring it up? You want me to start preaching to you right now? Would that make you feel better? It usually happens in my music career when they realize I'm a preacher. I'll testify in my character and actions, yes, sir. I believe and not be shy about telling them why. When needed, understood. That's correct. When needed. Don't cast your pearls before swine. That's what that phrase means. Don't give wisdom away to people who could care less, because it's not doing them any good. And even if they did hear it, it wouldn't do them any good because they could care less, you know. He warned it was very long. I haven't seen it, but I'll go back and check that video out. Do you remember the name of the video? His video, so I can go look at it? I don't want to sit through a bunch of cop videos and stuff trying to find it. So Sasquatch had a lot of good things to say about you. Oh, that's sweet. Your delivery and things. That if you could just get the right hook, you'd skyrocket into popularity. Well, see, that's the thing. Here's the thing that Sasquatch doesn't understand about me. And I totally get why he doesn't understand it. This is not a slight on him at all. Most people don't get this because it's counterintuitive to what I'm doing. I'm on YouTube, so clearly I'm trying to get the attention of people. But as I said in Monday night's podcast, I can't get in my own way. I can't go out and push and try to make myself popular, because then that gets in the way of the message. And this message is about God. So God needs to be the rock star here, not me. I'm just a messenger. I'm just a guy reading the words. It shouldn't be about me. It should be about him. And the only way I know to do that is to not get in the way, not be a rock star. Now, when I moved to North Carolina, I had never been here before. No one here knew who I was. I was a complete nobody. I had $100 in my pocket. I started a band by going to a music store and pulling down ads off of their little message board, pulling down people's business cards or whatever, and I went calling people, and I found a couple of guys, and I got them to my house, and we started a band. I went out with $100 and bought some equipment, and that's what we started with. And in 4 years later, I was the top band in North Carolina, and we stayed there for 12 years. I've opened for names like David Allen Coe. I've been on the same bill as David Allen Coe, which means my name was as important as his name was on that bill. We got paid the same thing. Confederate Railroad, Brooks and Dunn, Bobby G. Rice, names like that. Delbert McClinton, whatever. So I went from $100 in total obscurity to the most popular guy in town for 12 or 13 years. I know how to get attention, but I can't do it in this context, because in this context, I'm trying to do something correct, something good. And that kind of attention ain't good. You understand? Just because I know how to shake my moneymaker and make people look at me, that don't make it righteous. That makes it about me. That makes me the big fish. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a televangelist. I'm not trying to take advantage of anybody. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not trying to even survive. I'm just trying to teach. And I put it in God's hands. I say, if you want the people to come, you got to bring them. Because if I bring them, then it's about me. But if you bring them, it's about you. So that's where it's at. And that's what a lot of people don't get about me, why I'm not doing things a certain way, like playing the algorithm and, you know, doing a bunch of random shorts, which I do, by the way, just not as much as most people, to get more popularity. I'm sticking with what I was told to do, which is read the word and explain it and get out of there. So that's what I'm doing. Hey, Fab Daddy 44, good to see you, my friend. It was the last chill stream last night. Okay, I'll check it out. But I'm glad he had a lot of good stuff to say about me, and I appreciate that. Hey, Fab Daddy says MVTV. Understood, sir. It's not the same, but my channel, for me, is to make content that amuses or interests me. I never note to subscribe or like, though that is proven to work. It has to stand as is. I understand that. And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to amuse yourself. And like I said, if I were trying to amuse me, that would be one thing. But I'm trying to amuse God. And that's a whole nother thing. And it don't involve people, actually. So if nobody comes, that's up to him. I hope they do come, because I don't like talking to nobody. So far, we've had a pretty steady stream of people that are pretty serious about hearing what I got to say, and that means a lot to me. But it hasn't been big, and it may never be. Or it may just take time. I don't know. I have to play the waiting game just like you do, because I don't know what's coming. If I come and watch, it's on me. Right, Fab Daddy. Hey, April. Welcome, sweetheart. Anyway, everything ain't about advertising. I hope that it comes across as sincerity, what I'm doing. I hope that when you view me, what you see is a person that's trying to tell you the truth. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm aiming for. I do notice you have consistent viewing after they post. Yes, there's a lot of people that watch this show not live. They watch it afterwards. And I'm also on 12 different platforms, by the way, which also have consistent views, which are not counted in the YouTube views. But they're smaller because I just started doing that a few months ago. They're getting there, though. How is everyone, says April. Well, I'm fine. How are you? Good to see you. I was stuck at last 3 days without power and zero internet. Man, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. But you're good now? Everything okay? Everything work out according to plan? Much love back to you, sweetheart. Oh, yeah. I ghost wrote this now respected business book of Doctors Mike Chet, and Dr. Stephen London, global business gurus, marketing geniuses, and crooks, each one. I hear you, man. That's cool that you can get those jobs, though. I didn't know you were that prolific of a writer. That's awesome. I would write that kind of stuff, too, if somebody gave me a job to do it. I realize I am a YouTube junkie. Aren't we all, buddy? Aren't we all? I hadn't watched TV in like 4 years. I've been stuck on YouTube this whole time. Had to communicate with family all 3 days. That's never good when you're stuck talking to the fam. Marketing to me is now repulsive. It's not a very pretty thing. There's certainly nothing Christian about it. The whole thing is a bit skeevy and a bit taking advantage of people, And I don't want to do that. I really don't. I'm not trying to. We played Boggle. Nice. He hired me at a dog funeral. It was sad. So I had my little niece translate my memorial by barking, and it made everybody feel better. Aw. Cheat was stunned, or Chet. Shrug. Well, you can't please them all. I think barking at a dog funeral as a translator is hilarious. Because why is somebody having a funeral for a dog? It's a dog. That's when you got too much money right there. What's boggle? Boggle means to baffle or to confuse. Oh, it's a board game. Never mind. What he said. He played Boggle. Boggle's a board game. Glad to be out of the snow. I bet you are. It's a word game, board game. Isn't it that thing that's got the timer and the dice that pop up? Or something like that? It's been years since I've seen it. Pronounced Chate. Got it. But the closeness to cheat was a long time private joke. Pretty close. I didn't want to call him that, so I kept that one under my tongue. But yes, dice with letters on them. That's right. Cool. How much snow for you, Fab Daddy? Asks Montana. I haven't got any snow here yet, but it's going to rain tomorrow, if that helps. I went to South Lake Tahoe, and it snowed 3 feet. Sounds like fun. Woo. Snow is anything but fun, unless you're a kid. If you're an adult, snow is not fun. If you're a kid, snow is snowballs and sled rides and snowmen and running around and mittens and having a good time. If you're an adult, it's aching knees and mud everywhere, white mud, and it hurts your eyes because everything is white and you can't discern where the road is. And I can't wait to get out of this mess. All my impressive things in the resume are from what the F bizarre connections or accidents. Just looks like it was focused. I tried snowshoes for the first time. How's it feel walking on tennis rackets? Because that's what a snowshoe is, tennis racket. Three-day storm dumped 16 to 18 inches. And now the wind is blasting, building up berms. Man, that's terrible. I hate to live in a place like that. My arm is hurting and it ain't even started snowing. Those things work and wish I had some. Some snowshoes? Yeah, I bet. Well, if you got some tennis rackets, you're halfway there. Just tie them onto the bottom of your shoes and you're ready to go. I bet they're cheaper than snowshoes. As resourceful as you are, though, I bet you could come up with something. If nothing else, get some cardboard and tie to the bottom of your shoes. Make your shoes wider. I would have broke my legs or ankles. It's possible. I never figured out how people can get up on skis. I tried that one time when I was a kid. Of course, there was no snow, but they're hard to stand up on. Bet it would be easier in the snow, though. It was a decoration on the wall, and I took them down, and it was better than going in my boots. I bet. Absolutely. I went 50 feet and returned back to the house. So what you're saying is your shoe tracks made a U-turn, like that cat video. I ain't going out there. Earlier tonight, I had a Navy nuke sub surface in the field outside. Really? Asking directions to the ice station zebra. I couldn't help them. Broke right through the ice, did they? So you got a lot of snow too, huh? He said he got 16 to 18 inches, which is about 1.5 feet. Ain't quite 2 feet of snow. But it's a lot. That's a lot. That'll mess up your day for sure. Yeah, I asked this Northern Cheyenne dude in town, and it was like a movie, like slow-mo. He answered, "Winter is usually pretty mild, but we have a feeling this one will be bad," says the wise counsel. Don't litter. That's not even funny. I'm Native American. I don't think that shit's funny, man. I can see you walking 59 feet and making a U-turn. It's cold out there, and he's skinny, too. He ain't got no meat on his bones. He'd be freezing to death up there. I've been thinking about building a fire myself. Go sleep in the barn. That's pretty good, says Caucasian. Thank you, sir. Good to see you, my friend. I heard you was talking about me last night. Got to go check your video out. This is how you speak Indian. No offense. Drop your second to last syllable. Then a big rinse on the last. Well, I am an Indian, so this is how you speak Indian. But you're right. There's different ones in different places. I was doing the Canadian Indian. Because Indians where I'm from sound like this. I have Blackfeet name. Mofo. It's part of the clan, sort of. Mofo. I like it. I've always had an affinity for that name. What you talking about, mofo? Hello, Caucasian. Much love. How is wife squatch? Wife squatch. You sound like an Inuit. That's what I was going for. She's okay. Good to hear that. How are you? Are you doing okay? That's not my Blackfeet name. It was to you, mofo, as an emphasis. I take it seriously. I got you. I need to reread that then. I have a Blackfeet name, mofo. I was part of the clan, sort of. Good loving. I'm friends with a few Inuits. Caucasian says MVTV. Oh, golly, like that movie with Adam Sandler. I don't know. Played PUBG with a bunch of Inuits. I don't know what that is. It's either a game I've never heard of or a misspelling. One of my friends there said I got on their good side versus the rest of the white devils because you do not dress like other white people or Napaquans. LOL, Fab Daddy, you loved it. I bet he did. Well, I know it's confusing with the beard and the white hair and the light skin. But believe it or not, I'm almost half Indian. Mr. D's, that is. That's the Adam Sandler movie you were referring to. Half Cree Indian. That's where I'm from. Which started out in Georgia and then was moved to Alabama and then out towards Oklahoma somewhere. When the war started, they just picked them all up and moved them. When did you start going white, Jake? Never went white. I'm just light-skinned. My mother was Irish. It's a free game on the phone. Parachute. Oh, parachute. And gather guns and take out other squads of 4 to be the last one. They can only be one. I've heard that somewhere before. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. There can only be one. Wasn't that a Spanish movie about some immortal dudes running around defending Mexico or something? Then you see it. It's called There Can Only Be One. Dad joke. Dad joke. Gotta get your dad joke. Highlander, yes. Oddly enough, he was Spanish, I think. Spanish and Egyptian, if I remember correctly. I'm white, diluted, Czech, Middle European, Moravia, blah. I'm envious by any one with a real heritage. Well, my heritage goes back to a woodshed. My last name is Johnson. That ought to tell you something. Somebody in the deep south way back knew somebody in the deep south way back, if you know what I'm saying. I might even have a little black in me. At least I think I got about that much. But my grandmother was half Indian and half Indian, pretty much. 2 different Indians. So my father passed his lineage on to me, which makes me probably like a little less than half, a little less than maybe even a quarter, who knows. And then the other side is my mother, who is Irish, and her last name was Allen, which is a big name in Ireland. So there's a pretty strong heritage on both sides. So basically, if I ever start drinking, I'm screwed. And for some reason, I really like French fries. I love fried chicken. Me too. That was random. My brother and his wife sent me dried fruit for Christmas. Really? That could go one of 2 ways. If you like dried fruit, then that's a great gift. I kind of like dried fruit sometimes. I really don't know what I am. More Irish. My dad's side, Cherokee Indian. Yeah, most of us have a little Cherokee in us in this country because of the proliferation of the Cherokee. They were everywhere. So especially if you're from the East Coast, you got a little Cherokee in you somewhere. That's cool, April. LOL, dried fruit. Oh, golly. Dried fruit can be good. It's great. It'll last a long time, that's for sure. And it's chewy, so it makes a good snack. Pop in and just chew while you're watching TV or something. But the banana ones are terrible. And they're hard. And if you ain't got no teeth like me, they're really, really hard to chew. True, says April. I am hot-headed redhead. Yep, you got most of the Irish in you. That is true. It's better than fruitcake. Yes, it is. Fruitcake sucks. I have 2 producing cherry trees and gonna pamper those babies. 3 more sprouting. Ooh, I bet those are awesome. I love cherries. April says, I love raisins and fruitcake. Ugh. I love raisins, fruitcake. Ugh. Gotcha. Red was one of my beloved surgical floor nurses at one hospital. Red-headed as well. Duh, a great lady. I tried breadfruit this weekend too. First time, last time, yeah. The old fruitcake trick. Not very good. It's got a kind of a medicine-y taste to it, to me. 5 apple trees, but just 1 producing so far. I used to have pear trees in my yard, but I can't see any pears for the last few years. I guess they quit producing. I mean, they're still there. They just don't produce pears anymore. Maybe it's a cyclical thing. Maybe they'll come back one day. It was fried and mushy. I understand, Fab Daddy. I don't like that either, says April. Aw, the memories for MBTV. Taro was good, almost like potatoes. Taro? I don't think I know what that is. Do you know what au gratin potatoes is? That used to be a mainstay in our house. Potatoes au gratin. Hadn't had that in years. Almost want to go buy some just to see if I still like it. It's an island root, is it? I don't think I've ever had it. I lived in L.A. as a wee one and recall tons of fruit from our backyard. Bushels of peaches, bananas, and avocados. Damn, I wish I had them now. Except the avocados. Yeah, I ain't ever figured out why people like avocados. They don't taste very good, and I don't like guacamole either. So, there's that. I came from Florida, so I'm accustomed to the bukus of fruit trees in the backyard. We used to live right next to an orange grove years ago. You just walk right out the back door and pick as many oranges as you want. Tangerines and all kinds of good stuff. Then when I was about 11, I got a job picking fruit. I don't think I've ever worked so hard in my life to this day. And I've done some hard jobs. Avocados is nature's butter, is it? I thought butter was nature's butter. Who the hell was the first one to look at the thing and say, hey, I wonder what that tasted like? Have that question for a lot of things. Yeah, like goat's milk. Can you imagine being the guy in your tribe looking at your goat going, I really want to taste that. Hey, Fred, bear with me. I want to talk to you about something. You see that goat over there? I'm going to go drink that milk right out of his titty. Are you crazy? That's a goat. What's the matter with you? His baby does it. It looks delicious. I want to try it. Man, you're weird. Are you with me? Yeah, I kind of want to try it too. Is it, Fab Daddy? I just can't explain avocados. I really didn't have the taste, says April. Yeah, there's some weird fruits in the world. Mexicans have some weird fruits. Have you ever seen that dragon fruit or star fruit or whatever it's called? It's got spikes all over it. That's a weird one, and it don't taste good. But they use it. Now, I do like agave, and they make tequila out of that. Avocado sprout and cheese sandwiches. That sounds like something that a liberal would eat with a soy latte. I'll stick to grilled cheese. I like that better. But you do you, bro. Avocado sprout, huh? And cheese. The cheese is good. I'd eat the hell out of the cheese. I'd have to pick the avocado sprouts off, though. I must admit, I also strongly recall my mom loved them. Would prepare then with butter, I think. Looks good, but I was stubborn and sugar depleted. With black coffee, really? Well, you are old school. I don't even drink black coffee. I drink cream and sugar in my coffee. I guess I'm a weakling. I like my coffee like I like my women. Strong, bitter, and slightly confusing. We did that in elementary school. Taste different. Dipping sauces. LOL. We brushed our teeth after lunch every day. Really? I don't think I ever brushed my teeth in school. I can't remember that anyway. It may have happened, but I don't remember it. It would be healthier if I did eat it. I pledge to do so with the planned crops, including lettuce, melons, sweet corn, and whatever the heck else I can sprout. Sweet. Anytime you're eating from the land, you're doing a good thing. I support that fully. And also, I think it's a great idea that you're learning how to do something. I preach doing something. I always say the three things you can do. You can make life with your penis, you can build something, and you can learn a trade or a skill. Bring something to the table. Be valuable. I believe in those things. That's how you save the world right there. That's the only way. There is no other way. My addiction is sugar, LOL. Mine too, among other things. So I'm proud of you there, MVTV. You're doing a good thing out there. Not with tomatoes. Huh? Oh, are you asking, does he not have any tomatoes? The landlady gave me this cob of special hybrid 60-day corn. Only planted a dozen in a cattle tank garden. I got here too late, but dang, they were great. But you saved some, though, didn't you? So you could plant next year? Tomatoes, good idea. They're on the list now. That sounds actually good. Nice. Well, I'm glad. Tomatoes are fantastic, but they need a lot of heat to grow, so I don't know if you can grow them there or not. The best tomatoes on planet Earth come from Georgia. That's a fact. I've proven it time and time again. And I believe Caucasian will back me up on this one. if he's still here. Heck yeah. I only used about 18 kernels of several hundred. That's all you need. Just a little bit to get going. Jake doesn't know what we are talking about. Sure I do. They matured 20 days faster than other ones, so may get 3 crops out of it. 2 for sure. That's awesome. Grilled on and tomato sandwiches. Oh, yeah. Is that onion? Grilled onion? Or grilled cheese? Grilled something in tomato sandwiches. Got it. I love a good tomato sandwich. Yes, peanut butter. I got what PB meant. I can see why that would be good. Peanut butter has a tendency to have a good flavor profile for other things. Try this if you haven't never before. Glass of milk, white milk, peanut butter toast, and chili. Try those things together. I learned that in Kansas. I went to see somebody and they fed that to me for lunch. And I was at first appalled. Like, what in the world are you feeding me here? This is some redneck cooking here. But it was delicious. It's got a perfect flavor combination. Chili and peanut butter toast with white milk. I loved it. Anyway, try it. You might like it. Yummy. I love tomatoes and peanut butter. You have given me a good idea. I'm going to try it. I'm allergic to peanut butter, but sure wish I could have eaten it. Nutritious and cheap. And it sticks to the roof of your mouth. I like my peanut butter with honey in it. I buy that Peter Pan honey roasted peanut butter. I prefer that. Chicken and waffles, yes, that's good too. Oddly enough, I have tried that and it is delicious. It don't sound like it's delicious, but it's delicious. Here's one that'll blow your mind. Mayonnaise and jelly sandwich. I know what you're thinking. I was poor and that's what we had, and so I ate it. So you can have mayonnaise and jelly, or you can have mayonnaise, jelly, and bologna, which is a good flavor combination. Super anaphylaxis from other exposure. I have about 8 to 12 minutes before it kills me. That's terrible. No. Try it. Don't be scared. Just one sandwich. If you don't like it, you never have to try it again. But I'm telling you, but make sure it's grape jelly and make sure it's regular mayonnaise, not salad dressing. Love chicken and waffles. Yeah. Jake, we eat alike. Yeah, well, I was poor. I needed to eat, so that's what we had, so I ate it. And it was good. I have fond memories of it. Also, tea and milk. Get you a glass of iced tea, sweet tea. Pour a little bit of milk in it like you would your coffee and stir it up. It's delicious. That's something my father and my granny used to drink all the time. And myself when I was a kid. I hadn't drank it for ages, but it's pretty good. Best foods. Certainly interesting. I'm with you. Another good combination is biscuits and coffee. Break the biscuit up in the coffee and then eat it with a spoon. Homemade biscuits are better, but that's a great flavor combination. It's got like the perfect flavor. I like things like that. Things that fit, that don't supposed to fit or don't typically fit. It's like an art. There's an art to finding the right profiles, and they fit together like a puzzle. I was thinking of fresh rabbit stew until Leviticus. Spoil sport. Yeah, I know that was a bummer for me too, because I ate rabbit when I was a kid. I used to eat just ketchup sandwiches. Ooh, I have eaten that before. A little ketchup on your eggs goes a long way, and a little ketchup on your collards. If you try that, you'll never eat collards without ketchup again. And I'm talking collard greens, like show enough collard greens or mustard, either way. I know ketchup and mustard is not as good as collards, though. Yep, I've eaten rabbit and squirrel in my childhood and in my adulthood. I've still eaten squirrel. Can't do it anymore, though. I like my collard greens with some fat back. Yeah, baby. Me too. Ever tried that? Never tried that. Although it's going to the same place anyway, so why not? You got a point. It's all about the stop it makes on your tongue, though. And I'm telling you, it's a great flavor combination. Actually, I couldn't shoot one of the furry ones. Dang cat Lucy hunts enough of them and delivers them. Gah. Well, that's two bad things, because not only are you eating something that God said don't eat, but you're eating a dead thing. So you can't touch that either way. You'll be dirty until evening. Jake, when I was a kid, I hear you. Me too, Fat Daddy. And some hominy. I ain't never liked hominy. I'm not big on that. Eggs over easy, yes. A lot of people sing high praises about hominy, but it ain't never been something I care for. No, it's not a sin, remember? Well, it is a sin, but it's a sin against the flesh, not a sin against your spirit. It's not a salvation issue. I say eat it if you got it, because food is hard to come by sometimes. You know, you do what you got to do. But just like with pork and shrimp, you're going to deal with the consequences if you eat that. Andrew Langelis, I eat pork, shrimp, and Texas-style nuggets. Is that like a mountain oyster, a Texas-style nugget? Kind of sounds like it. You know what a mountain oyster is? That's bull nuts. Anyway, as I was saying, I got sidetracked. If you're going to eat those things, you're going to deal with the consequences of eating those things, because that's what happens. If you want high blood pressure, hypertension, blood clots, plaque in the veins, stroke, heart attack, diabetes, gout, those things cause those things. Gout is caused by eating seafood and red meat. That's what causes gout. And it's aggravated by almost everything, including alcohol. So, if you're going to eat those things, be prepared for the consequences. But that's what it means to be a sin against the flesh. You eat something bad happens because you eat a lot of it. I drink a lot of Mountain Dew. I'm probably borderline diabetic as we speak. And I deserve it because I willingly do it. So, eat what you got to eat. Do what you got to do, but be aware of the consequences. That's why God made it the way it is in the Bible, to illustrate his desire for you to be healthy. That's the best way I know to put it. My dog eats bull's penis. Sweet. Texas-style nuggets are what you get when you castrate one. That's what I thought. Chitlins. This black family in Kentucky, Casey, wherever that is, deliberately sat me down to try them. I noticed all were watching closely, breaking out laughing when they forgot whatever sauce stops the fire spice. Normal? Yes, that's normal, because chitlins are innards. They're guts, and they got shit in them and everything else. And they don't always wash them out as good as they could. Those are not good to eat either. But in the South, you use every part of the animal, including the innards. Especially in Alabama and Mississippi and places like that. That's where the chitlins got their big start. South Carolina, those kind of places. Eat an organ. I do not eat liverwurst. Nor have I ever eaten organ meat from a bull before. Well, I've eaten a heart before. That's as close as I've come. Or liver. Yep, I told Kevin that he's getting his believe that. He will. He's got gout too, don't he? And he drinks, so it's always going to be aggravating him. I have had horrible eating habits for lots of reasons. Then had to get blood work. I braced myself. And all normal down the line. I wonder if I ate right. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Some people are just predisposed to having problems, and some people are not. You may be one of those that got lucky. I don't eat liver, nor deer, nor squirrel, nor oysters. Yuck. And you call yourself a country girl. You should at least eat deer. You just ain't had it cooked right. That's what it is. You're in Florida. They're not big in deer down there. I've never tried to eat chitlins either because it's pig intestines. That's right. Yes, it is. I will eat most things once. Fab Daddy said, I'll eat anything that won't eat me first, and in some cases, I'll consider it. Best jerky is deer jerky. That's right. Delicious. I love eating venison. It is a great delicacy. I love eating the organ meat from those beasts. Yep, I like the backstrap myself. Tenderloin. That's the good stuff. Yes, that's exactly what they are. But looked like the family sliced beef. It wasn't too bad except for the spicy. Not again, though. Yeah, they like spicy stuff. I like a little spice. I like the flavor of hot sauce. I don't like the heat of it. So I never eat chicken unless I have a bottle of hot sauce in my hand. But I like Texas Pete. Wait a minute. What? Might be Texas Pete. There's one I don't like because it's too hot, and it might be Texas Pete. I don't think it is. What's the other one? Most popular one. I'll eat deer hamburger meat. That's it. Do you know why? Because they put fat in it from another animal, like a cow. Because deer ground up to hamburger meat is very lean. It has no fat. And it cooks very small because all the grease comes out of it and it gets real tiny. So you got to put a little fat in with it so that it'll be juicy and so that it'll have a little size to it. Anybody that has had haggis has had haggis on Passover. I have not. My hunting involves a 2-mile car ride to the grocery store, cheaper than rounds at work. rounds and work. Yeah, it can be. Of course, the price of meat these days, I don't think it is. I hunt, but I don't hunt for sport. I don't like that idea. I don't kill an animal for a trophy. I kill an animal for food. I'm very respectful and honor the animal, and I eat all of it that I kill, or I make sure somebody does. If I don't eat it all, I give the rest away. I part it out for as much as I can get out of it. And I'm very grateful that the land provided me the meal, and I don't, not that I have anything against stuffing the head or mounting it or whatever, but I don't personally do that. But I figure you can't eat the head, so might as well get some enjoyment out of looking at it. That's fine. But what I don't like is people that'll kill the deer just for the head, and then they throw the rest away. That's a waste. That deer didn't have to die. Sheep lungs. Ugh. I want nothing to do with that. I don't like lamb anyway. Somebody gave me some lamb one time, and it was either bad or I don't like lamb. One of the two. It just didn't taste good to me at all. They gave me lamb sausage. That is what haggis is. Sheep lung. I think it's got other stuff in it. I think the sheep lung is the lining, isn't it? And I thought it was a stomach. I guess I don't know much about haggis. I thought it was a sheep stomach stuffed with sausage and other things. I don't know. I've never had it, so I don't know. I've only heard about it. So I probably got bad intel. We have good butchers here where you can buy half a pig at a good price. That's awesome. I think it is that part too. See, it may be. Anyway, I've heard that. So it could be, imagine they can use anything they want to use. But it's just a bladder, something that'll hold whatever they stuff in it. So I imagine you could use the lung or the stomach or the bladder. I don't know. I know that some sausage is stuffed inside the intestine of the animal because it's already sausage shaped. So, go figure. I prefer link sausage, and I prefer it without the skin on it. So I don't like the intestine part. Anyway, some sausage is pretty good. Some of it ain't so good. I guess it consists of the heart, the lungs, and the stomach. Maybe so. Like I said, I've never had it. I've only heard about it. It's a big delicacy over there in Scotland, and they serve it a lot in England. I'll let the rattlesnakes go, too. I appreciate their warnings. Out of 11 this year, I only had to kill one, but it was too close and kept getting closer. Almost got me, as it was. Their camo is effective. Yeah, you can't let them rattlesnakes get too close to you. They'll bite you. They eat spotted dick in England. Some of them do that here in America, too. Nasty bastards. I don't know what that is, and I don't want to know what that is. LOL. Wow, that's scary. Well, you know, to each his own. You ought to see what they eat in India or in China. You think the menu is crazy here? You ought to eat in China. You wouldn't believe what they eat. It's a canned dessert. Okay. It's probably like blood pudding or something like that, huh? I've had people try to get me to eat what they call minced meat pie. All I got to do is smell it and tell you I don't want none of that. My brother-in-law swears by it. He loves it. And I can't imagine. Why would you make a pie out of meat? Minced meat at that. And then add rum or bourbon or whatever it is they put in it. No. It's really freaky because you're going along your day without a worry, and suddenly you hear that, and you're not used to that at all. Yeah, I've never encountered a rattlesnake up close. I've seen a few of them, but I've been fortunate enough to be away from them when I saw them. Once I met a lady that got bit by a rattlesnake before. The bites didn't get to her bloodstream. That's good. Raisins and condensed milk with bread. Is that what minced meat pie is? Whatever it is, I don't want none of it. Rattlesnakes are better than copperheads. Yep. We got what's called a cottonmouth around here. That's a pretty dangerous animal. And we got water moccasins. And they look like regular old yard snakes, except the bottom of them is white. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you could be getting in trouble pretty quick with them things. A copperhead will drop you in your boat. That's good for her. These prairie rattlesnakes have a very powerful neurotoxin. Cats that are bitten go through a terrible suffering before the end. So, sorry, serpent. You must always be wiser than serpents, which is why I don't understand churches in Alabama or the Appalachians or wherever they do it, where they handle rattlesnakes, because there's this line in the Bible that says that if you have the right amount of faith, you can tread on serpents. Taken out of context, of course. Leave it to a hillbilly. But you got to understand that the rattlesnake, he hadn't read the Bible. He don't know he's not supposed to bite you. And he probably will at some point. He might tolerate you for a little while, especially if you handle him a lot. But at some point, you're getting bit, and you're probably going to die. And that's your own damn fault. Because like I said, the rattlesnake didn't read the Bible. And also, neither did you, because that's not what that's talking about. It's referring to the serpent, meaning devils, meaning treading on devils. It's a metaphor, which the Bible is proliferated with, metaphors. And, it's talking about being able to outsmart the bad guy, being able to go through a tribulation and come out unscathed. It ain't talking about handling a rattlesnake, which will bite you. Silly people. Do you know that we are evolving the rattlesnake's population? They are not producing rattles. I did not know that. Are you sure it's just not a rattlesnake? Because the last rattlesnake I saw had rattles. Enlighten me. Tell me what you're talking about. That dang first month when a 5-foot bull snake, mimicking a rattle in color, slides in the back door. That was one hell of a jump scare and 10 minutes of insanity. I bet. I found a couple of them trying to get up under my vinyl siding in my house or get up in the floor. And they're pretty big, but they're just trying to get somewhere and shed. But I don't want them doing it in my house. Does not have to read the Bible to know the Bible. Really. word is testimony, and anybody can say it from their mouth. That's true, but they can't if they've never read it. Somebody has to read it. That's why we do this. And by the way, with the exception of those few people who actually pick up the Bible and read it with me, everybody on this channel is learning by word of mouth because I'm reading it and they're listening to it. So you're absolutely right about that. But somebody has to have read the Bible or else you're getting bad information. All those roundups. Oh no, Fab Daddy. I wouldn't be able to walk outside without at least hoping I'd hear them first. Those rattlesnakes. Are you talking about a ball python? Those things can wrap themselves around any animal, even hordes of buffaloes. It can kill one. Not a ball python. A python, yes. A ball python doesn't get very big. And it stays wrapped up by itself. That's why they call it a ball python, because the little kids in Africa will throw it back and forth like a ball. That's where the name comes from. But a python, yes, can get very big and eat a deer, maybe a buffalo. I don't know. I ain't never seen one that big, but that don't mean they can't get that big. Rattlesnakes without rattles live longer. Interesting. Locals call them bull snakes, I guess. The accepted term is gopher snake. Never heard of one of those. Softly, y'all. I'm eating and getting things put away. Sorry, y'all. I'm eating, getting things put away. I'll be right back. I meant to say bull python. I got you. I might have read it wrong. I am prone to doing that. Sorry, I mean, geez, I need to recalibrate my phone. Ugh. I own a one-eyed python. So do I. He lives in my pants. They mimic rattler colors and slap their tails trying to fake rattling. Yeah, I've heard of snakes that can do that. All I saw was the brown pattern. Calmed down, though, has had a round head, pupils, and a smooth tail. Yeah, that head shape is the one that really does the trick right there. You see that big bulldog shape with the big jaws? You know you're in trouble. The flat nose. Oddly enough, snakes that are shaped like spears won't hurt you. Snakes that are shaped like blunt instruments will kill you. That's oddly. Golly, that's horrific, MVTV. He also said it was 5 feet long. That's a big-ass snake. Those things are from Brazil. I recall that look for the triangular viper head from EMT class, and is the best, quickest ID to see if it's not poisonous. Right. Yep. I call it a bulldog head because a bulldog has the same shape of head, big fat jaws and a blunt nose. Yes, amen. Did you know that Florida right now is being overrun by pythons and what do you call those lizards that people collect? Can't think of what they're called. You know, it's a big-ass lizard, and you keep it in an aquarium. Being overrun by them, so much so that the state has allowed hunters to go out and hunt them and will even pay them per snake or per lizard that they catch because they're decimating the ecosystem in the Everglades. And it started by people owning snakes until they get too big and then they just turn them loose in the yard. That's happened so many times in Florida, and there's no natural predator for a python in Florida. So they just run rampant, and they eat everything, and they don't stop. And now they're taking over. I thought that was interesting. I used to live in Florida, and they didn't have a python problem when I lived there. But they got one now. I think Australia has the most poisonous animals. I think you're right about that. I got footage of it after realizing it wasn't a rattler. Able to pull it out unharmed, by the way. Good for you. I would have killed it dead. Chicken of the jungle is the iguana. That's what I was trying to say. Iguanas. Big-ass lizard. That's why I couldn't think of it. Aussies have too many deadly big spiders, too. Lizards, and I think I heard the deadliest snakes, too. I think you're right. They got a spider called a hunter spider that will attack you. It will actually rear up and fight you. Like if you try to hit it with a broom, it'll run up the broom and bite you. That's too much. I want my spiders to run from me. I don't want one that'll fight back. You can have the house. I'm out. I like to read along in the Bible sometimes, though I listen. That's right. It's amazing. The King James Version is the way. Only NIV makes sense, but words mean everything. That's right. And by the way, any Bible, the NIV, the Revised, all those ones with the different letters on the end of them, none of those are good because of copyright law. That's one reason. The other reason is because the devil has a vested interest in having a product out there that is sufficient so that you get confused. Here's the thing, though. Copyright law states that if you make a work, it has to be 25% different than the other work that it copies, or else you're under copyright violation. If you could imagine changing 25% of the Bible, how much information are you losing? What information are you changing? Well, in this case, the NIV, they changed the blood. And the blood is very important in the Bible. They take that out. They also take soul out. They change words to make similar meaning, but not the exact meaning. When if you know anything about Hebrew, that's an exact language. If they say something, it has a meaning, and that's what it means. If you say something similar, that's not the same thing. That's why you shouldn't read those Bibles. Because, yes, you can read them and they make sense. But they're not right. And what's right is your understanding of God's Word. And if you change things around even a little bit, you're not getting a clear understanding of God's Word, and that's wrong. So don't do that. King James has a lineage that you can trace back to Antioch. It is that Bible. It is every word exactly like the one Paul was reading. Now, that's as far back as you can go, but there it is. It's a straight line. All the other Bibles, you can't trust them. I did a podcast on that. You can look through my vast catalog if you want to and find it. It's in there somewhere, and it's in the title, where I break down the different legs of the translations and how they came to be and where they came from and how they went through different changes over the years. The only one that is a straight, direct line is the King James Bible. That's the only one I trust. Do you know the difference between a legless lizard and a snake or a serpent? Yes. OMG, Jake. Woohoo. Trophy. I walked around like Matt Dillon for a month. Then when I need the pistol, I misplaced it after returning from the store just then. Else I would have blasted it away. I don't blame you. Man, I just want to know, have y'all ever seen a grasshopper head smashed, then it grows another head? What? No, I've never seen a grasshopper grow another head. Don't think that's possible. I know they might grow another leg. I don't think they can regrow a head. I might be wrong, though. I don't know everything. It is the fact that snakes do not have eyelids. limbless lizards do. Well, I've seen a snake blink before. How do you explain that? They do have a film that'll cover their eyes. But it's not an eyelid. You're right. Oh, thanks for that image, April. Now I got to research that. Say it ain't so. What is going on in the world, people? Tell me what you find, MVTV. Grasshoppers can't grow a new head. I agree. The New International Version has tried to make an apocrypha of King James Version. Well, I'll stick with the original, but thanks for that. Tried to make an apocrypha of the King James Version. I'm looking it up. Biblical or related writings not forming a part of the accepted canon of Scripture, writing or reports not considered genuine. That's what apocrypha means. So what you're saying is they're trying to make a not genuine Bible that is not part of the original source and not to be trusted. I got you. Ugh, OMG, geez. That's what I was told by a friend. I never seen it in action. I just had to ask. She must have been high. I'd say so if she thinks anything can grow a new head. The head's where the brain's at. You separate the head, you die. NIV means New International Version. That's what I have, and noted the big difference in the word choice. As a writer, I know just personal choices of terms can change original meanings. That's right, MBTV. And also, if you'll do a little study there, this is some homework for you. You can choose to do or not either way, but if you want to know, I've done this before and I don't want to do it again, but I've got enough information to know I'm right on this. But look at what they change. Just go through the Bible and make a note every time they change a word or italicize a word or add a word, and then go back through and look at the material that they're changing, and you'll find a pattern there. And it's a very specific and deliberate pattern. They are taking the lifeblood of God, making it not valuable, out of the Bible. They're taking the blood of Christ, which covers sin, out of the Bible. They're making that a moot point. They're taking the soul out of the Bible, so you're not even talking about that anymore. So what are you doing? We're reading this whole book. It's got lots of good information in it, except for the most important piece of information, which is Christ died for your sins. His blood covers as a sacrifice of all sacrifices so that you can go to heaven. And if you don't have that piece of information, all of Christianity means absolutely nothing. It's very important, those words that they're changing. So just keep that in mind as you read that Bible. And if you want, I'll send you a real Bible. Absolutely, says April. Yes, indeed. The liver is our only organ that can regrow. Correct. You're a bit behind in chat, Jake. I know. I'm sorry about that. There ain't much I can do about that. We have a little bit of a lag. Since the majority of their body functions are controlled by ganglia, along with their nerve cords, most insects can persist for several days or longer without their heads. I did not know that. Ew, that's just weird. April says, thought so. Cannot add to or take away from the Holy Bible. That is against his first commandment. First commandment is, I am the Lord your God. There shall be no other gods before me. However, to add to your point, if you go to the last page in the Bible and read the last verse or the last paragraph, that will tell you in the last page, Revelation's at the end, the last paragraph will tell you why you should not change any words in the Bible. But you're absolutely right, although you're misplaced in the commandments, but you're absolutely right. You cannot add to or take away from the Word of God. It is perfect the way it sits. Interesting exercise. Sounds like it'll just be another thing to get outraged about. I'm glad I was clued in on it. Jeez, this critical information. Yes, sir. It is very critical. And I'll be glad to clue you in on those things. And as long as you trust me and trust my research, then you don't have to look. But if you ever doubt anything I say, please go look for yourself and make sure that I'm telling you right. And if I told you something wrong, you come back and tell me and I'll make a change because I want to learn too. Oh well, I feel for those and the consequences they will face. Wow. Yep. What are God-given rights? God-given rights is a statement made by man when writing the Constitution of the United States of America. We were illustrating a point, and that point is that man is free and able to do certain things and able to have certain rights afforded to them, inalienable rights given to us by our Creator, meaning we were made free. Quite a few times in the Bible it uses the word liberty to describe the state of man, meaning freedom. And that's what they're drawing from when they wrote the Constitution. So God-given rights is a man-made statement, but it's absolutely correct. We were given God-given rights. The right to freedom of speech, the right to defend yourself, that sort of thing. So read the Constitution for God-given rights. Free us, the only one who sees the truth. Who is that? Oh, let me reread that. Sorry. Ricky J. Frias, welcome to the show. The only one who sees the truth. Thank you. Thank you very much. 2. Comment. Make me a peanut butter banana sandwich. Don't be cruel. Uh-huh. Hi, Ricky. Sounds good, baby. Says April. Andrew. 22, 19, 21. What are those, Andrew? Which book? Howdy, all. What's up? Alpine Gulch in the house. What's happening, lady? Good to see you, my lily. I don't forget anything. How are you, Ricky? Hello, Alpine, says April. Fab Daddy says, good answer, Jake. Yes to the Constitution. Yeah. America. I would say free will is the one and only God-given right, and all that's needed in that context. That's a good answer also, MBTV. Although my pistol differs with you just a little by one right. Ricky Frias says, the only one who sees the truth. Thank you, sir. I enjoy listening. You got the DJ voice. I do? Thank you. I thought I had a smoker's voice, but I appreciate it. Good to see you, Alpine. Where have you been, love? We missed you. Hearts and smiley faces. Hi, Alpine Gulch, says MBTV. I axed a certain video after your advice because that was meddling. It's cold. How are you? Cold here too, sweetheart. Not as cold as where you're at, but cold. The only one who sees the truth. Is that part of your name, Ricky Frias? The only one who sees the truth? Is that your name? Or are you just keeping on saying that? You 2 for 2, Ace. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Words of the book of this prophecy. Good shall... ... Bunny killer. Oh, Lord, MVTV the Bunny Killer. You might have a new nickname. Tornadoes in New Orleans, Fab Daddy says. That's terrible. Take away his part out of the book of life. And out of the holy city and from the things which are written in this book. Or are you reading the end of Revelations? Gotcha. Uh-oh, that's tragic and so sad, says April. I think he's pulling out the last part of Revelations there. I think that's what he's reading. I didn't get a book, just numbers. But the numbers were, if I can find them. Nope. They done passed me by. 22, 19, 21. I have no idea that of which you speak. No bunnies were harmed to my knowledge. No comprende English. Where am I? What's the question? 20. He which testifieth these things saith, surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so come the Lord Jesus. My dumb name, YouTube locked me out from changing it. 12 days. It's really puts me in my place. I might keep the name. If I attract them, they will come. I hear you, brother. I'm doing kind of the same thing. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. Amen. I was kidding. He likes to I was kidding. He likes rabbits. I killed the Easter Bunny with my Toyota. Wow. Why? Save bunnies. Save bunnies. They are delicious, though. And that was the book of Revelations that you asked me to look at the passage of. You might not have read far enough up. We're talking about, what I was talking about is where the last page where it talks about removing or taking away or adding to the word. And if you do that, then all the plagues of the Bible will be added unto you and your name will be taken out of the book of life and all that good stuff. It kept hiding my eggs in the yard. Yep. That's a bunny that needs to die right there. What does a bunny have to do with Easter? And why does that one lay eggs? Can you say Ishtar, anybody? I think it's too late. Talking about from verse 19 to 21, chapter 22. I had it put in from increments. I got you. Thanks so much, Andrew. Much love. I appreciate you backing up. always good to be checked when I say things because I don't always have things right in my head. That's a good thing, so I appreciate you. You're the new Diego. I dubbed thee Diego too. By the way, a kite is a bird listed in the unclean beasts that the Israelites are not to eat. It is a bird of prey. It's kind of like a vulture. It is a keen-eyed bird of prey, which means it has large pupils and can see very clearly forward, which is unusual for birds. Does that take out from the words of the Bible? Shall have it taken from them in the book of life. Yes. If you take out of the Bible, you get taken out of the Bible. It's not a good thing. And unfortunately, there are lots of companies who are going to suffer that fate because there's lots of people out there that have changed the meanings of the words in the Bible. Yeah, what's up with the bunny at Easter and Peter Cottontail? Just something fun like coloring the eggs and spending more money. It's fun, but let's reveal what Easter Sunday really means, amen? Well, Easter Sunday is actually Easter Friday because Christ was crucified on Friday, taken down off the cross because of Passover. But we celebrate Easter as the Passover of Christ. That's not Passover. Passover is 14 days past the spring equinox, which is the day that Christ died. And the Easter that we celebrate is an amalgamation of several different pagan holidays, notably the ones concerning Ishtar and a couple of other gods, female gods. And the egg is about fertility, and painting the egg and all that is about getting pregnant and going and finding the egg, hiding the egg, and seeking the egg. That's all done in ritualistic practice, running around the pole with the streamers. That's about sperm. So what you're actually celebrating is a ritualistic fertility dance. And that's where we get that from mostly. And they've conscripted it into Christianity, as with many other things like Christmas, December being the birth of Christ, who was born in September, by the way, because if it was that cold, they wouldn't have been sleeping outside in a place with animals. And also they were traveling, so it had to be warm, and there were animals grazing as they went, so it had to be warmer. Anyway, December happens to be the shortest day of the year, and there's a lot of pagan rituals that happen on that day. This all started around the time of Constantine, by the way, and pictures of Christ with the sun disk behind his head. I know you've seen that. That's a pagan thing where they're mixing religions together so that they can get everybody in that has multiple beliefs into one religion. That happened years and years ago. And things like that occur a lot. So just be aware. The Christmas tree, the Bible says not to bring a tree into your house and decorate it, by the way. Just so you know, because that's a pagan holiday. Any reason for that green blanket behind you? Usually that window is unobstructed. Easier to see that one guy that's always peeking in on you when you never seem to notice or mention. Alpine Goat says, LOL, LOL, MVTV. Yeah, I know about that guy. I'm watching him. I can see behind me, by the way. LOL, heard ya. Haha. See, you guys saw him too in the past, right? Yes, MVTV, I saw him a few times. Screenshot for files. All I saw was eyes. Fertility under Babylon was under Semiramis, the W of Babylon, the whore of Babylon. Your head's in the right place. What? So we're celebrating sperm? Yes, among other things. It's all about Jesus' suffering for us, according to my Catholic kin. Oh, there he is. Turn, Jake, turn. Oh, forget it. Dang. Chat lag. We tried. I miss him every time. Do me a favor, Catholics. Go to your Google and Google the Vatican, which is the Catholic place of business, and go to the images section and just take a gander around at all the idolatry that's going on in that place. Look at the Luciferian symbolism in the buildings where the Pope lives and where he teaches, in the stadium-like area that he teaches from, with a big statue in the background of a man coming out from hell, surrounded by demons. Supposed to be the crucifixion of Christ is the name of the statue. That's not what it looks like to me. And the room looks like a giant snake head. Go look at that. And look at all the statues that are in Rome and in the Vatican. And look at all the gold and all the paintings of pagan gods and critters that are half human and half other things. And tell me who is practicing idolatry. Is it me? Or is it the Catholics? I'm just saying. Oh, I read that one. It could have been a woman, perhaps a groupie, probably. Or it might be your imagination, because I can see behind me. April, LOL. Never thought of that. Jake must have groupies. I do have some. And our government is holding up Nephilim. You know, the thought has crossed my mind. There have been quite a few trips to Antarctica that are black booked. John Kerry, during the inauguration of Donald Trump, John Kerry and the Pope and an imam from India or wherever they're from went to Antarctica for some reason, and nobody knows why. Also, the Euphrates River is drying up. I mean, you can read in the Bible about the Euphrates River and what's beneath it, and that one day it will be released onto the earth, and the fact that it's drying up has got quite a few people freaking out. So it's entirely possible. I believe in Hephaestion work. I don't know what that word means. I will find out, though. In Greek mythology, Hephaestion was one of the various spouses of Agaptus, king of Egypt, by the latter. She became the mother of the youngest princes, Edus, Daphron, and Pandion, Aberus, Hyperbius, and Hippocrates. Her sons were wed and slayed by their cousin wives, daughters of King Danis of Libya during the wedding night. So they didn't live very long. The daughter of his uncle. I would caution you to watch what you believe. But, if you care to elaborate on that statement, I'm all ears. He does love. Well, first time I destroyed the podcast. No, you ain't destroyed a podcast. What are you talking about? Ha-ha. Who knows now? They just made same-sex marriage legal, but I'm not judging. Live and let God. Amen. I know that they did a thing yesterday in the White House where they claimed to have legalized gay marriage. Only that was done quite a few years ago, and same-sex marriage has been legal for quite a while. So they haven't done anything. They're just boasting. That's all they're doing. They also claimed a couple of other things that were already in effect. I got to catch up with this chat. It's getting away from me. Sir, don't forget, eat grapes for your lungs. Hillbilly cat. It's meant to clean your lungs. The grape has special medicine. Okay? Okay? Let it rock. I'll remember that. I happen to need a little something for my lungs. Oh, good. I thought Jake reached the limit on me that time. No, sir. Never. You are one of mine. There is no limit. I don't know what you're talking about either, by the way, but there's no limit. So what about those grapes, Ricky? Tell us about that. What's Jesus' favorite vehicle? His feet? A Chrysler. That's good. That's a good one. Love it, Ricky. Right on. What's a Luciferian symbol? Related to Lucifer, I guess, but can you specify? Yeah, I can specify. Behold, Luciferian symbology. Specifically Baphomet in various versions of it. Does that help? Notice the upside down cross in the middle. That is a perversion of a Christian symbol. That's to symbolize the death of Peter. Peter did not want to be crucified in the likeness of Christ because he didn't feel worthy, so he asked to be crucified upside down, and they granted him his right. And that's where that comes from. That is not a satanic symbol, but it has been perverted and conscripted into this pagan rituals. So, like, has the Star of David with the pentagram and the cross with various broken crosses symbology, and the what is the word for the snake wrapped around the pole? Caduceus. That little infinite symbol on the left-hand side of your screen over here with the 666 and the pentagram and the Nestle and the upside-down cross. That is a Egyptian tower of power. I forget what they call that, but that goes into Egyptian folklore. And so forth and so on. You get the idea. Okay. Maybe that'll help. Bernadilli. That's interesting. Catholicism was the rule against all, and the Rockefellers happen to be the current lead in our world right now, among others. Why are we zoomed? I don't want to be zoomed. Thank you. Everyone, don't forget to hit that like button, please. Come on. Back for another beautiful Bible study starting Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We love you all true. Thank you, April. Well, ma'am. Damn it. Well, ma'am, if you do a grape diet, 2 weeks, it lets your digestive system work less, so your body has more power to work on the body parts that need attention. It fights COVID. Very nice. I've said it before, Jake. Catholicism chased me to you for some sense decades after rejecting all the games. The Pope and all those pointy hats can pound sand, too. Amen, brother. And I'm glad you're here. And I love you for it, and I'll keep you as long as I can. All those hats are so silly. Those hats, interestingly enough, are called miters. M-I-T-R-E. They themselves are a perversion of what's written in the Bible for the high priest to wear. So, in effect, the Pope is calling himself the authority of God. God did not give him that authority. Nor can he forgive your sin, nor can he absolve you of it. He is not a God. He is not vicar, which means instead of Christ. I want to be able to digest food. I don't like being constipated. It sucks. Ugh. Oh, my Lanta. I meant being constipated sucks. I did not mean to say Hephaestus. I meant to say Hephaestus from the Greek. And only as a last resort. I will look into that. All right, great question. Head symbol of the Star of David turned upside down and covered in crimson. Whoa. My eyes, sir. I hear you. I didn't like looking at it either. Oraculus and Ouroboros are also pagan symbols of the devil. Yes. Pharmakia is the symbol of two snakes going after one another on a chalice at the top. Pharmakia, it means knowledge of something. I can't remember. But it's where we get the word pharmacy. It's knowledge of witchcraft. There's another word, but I can't think of it. It's knowing the dark arts. Pharmakia. Really? So let me get this straight. Wait a second. Lucifer was crucified upside down? No, you got that wrong. I thought he was an angel already. He is an angel. He always has been an angel. He was created an angel, a cherubim to be specific. He used to be the cherub that covered, which means the one who protects the mercy seat of God, which is the seat above the Ark of the Covenant where God sits. It was Lucifer's job to be the protector of that. I will let you do the math on when that was created and when Lucifer was involved in that. That's between you and God. But Lucifer the morning star, or the bringer of light, or Prometheus, was a beautiful angel, one of God's finest. He had the entire package. That means beauty, knowledge, wisdom, artistic nature, talent. He had it all of God's gifts. And he got to where he wanted to be God, and God put him in his place. That being said, Satan, which is a delineation of Lucifer, is a little confusing. Almost like it's two different people, but it's the same guy. That old devil, that serpent from old, the serpent from the Garden of Eden, that's who we're talking about. They're all one and the same. He is the tempter or the adversary. His job, he was created to offer a second opinion to mankind, because without darkness, light has no purpose. Without evil, good has no purpose. And if you have free will, you need a choice. Therefore, God put into his master plan, which most people cannot understand because they can't get past the fact that God created evil, but he most certainly did. And that's his job. And he is an angel. Peter was crucified upside down because he wasn't worthy of being crucified in the same manner as Christ, according to lore. That's not biblical. I'm confused now. I hope that unconfused you. No, Peter was upside down. Right. You're welcome, love. Peter was not Lucifer. Correct. I gotcha. Okay. I misunderstood. Yes. Lagging comment. But to me, the Pope is the embodiment of who the hell died and made you boss. Very correct. You're absolutely right. Yes. Without conflict, there is no plot. Very good. That's from the hero's journey. Wow, thanks, Jake. I understand now. I'm glad. Hey, we're just running away with the time here. I'm having a good time. Won't you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's right in front of you, and it really does help the channel with the algorithms, and it helps us get recommended to other people. Won't you do that? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave comments down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you dig what I'm doing here and you love what's going on and you'd like to be part of that, you'd like to help out, you'd like to be part of something special, or if you'd just like to pat me on the back and say, hey, good job, Jake, go buy yourself a cup of coffee, you can do that. You can support my work by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or if you're a CashApp user, you can go to $jakejohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win, and I appreciate all that you do for me, and I am grateful and will do everything in my power to endeavor to be worthy of your confidence. And with that, I will round out this video. Dark and light. So, Zen-like. Yeah, it's almost like the Chinese knew what they were doing when they wrote that yin-yang with the dark half and the light half and the dark spot and the light spot. It's almost like they understood something, right? Incidentally, that symbol comes from the first dynasty of the Chinese people, of any recorded people that lived in that area, which happened right after the flood, right after a certain fella came into town who worshipped a god called Xingji, which means the Most High. There's only one God that has that description, by the way. And that guy's name was Shem, and he was the son of Noah. So he knew what he was talking about. There are other forces in this world than those of evil, correct? The rod and the robe, they keep us. That's interesting. Sounds a little sword and sorcery, but I like it. Yes, the truth prevails also, amen. Yes, it does. By the hand of God is grace to us, is our security. That word security comes from a word called Shabbat, which means security or safety or rest or sanctuary or peace under God. Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey, Power of Myth. Yes, Alpine Gulch, you caught me. You said it. Look at the big brain on Alpine. That's my Lily. Always paying attention. I like it. Yeah, every now and then I let it slip that I have an education. Who is Santa Claus? I'm kidding. Santa Claus. Well, just look at the letters in the name Santa. Santa. But what if you took that N and put it on the end of the word? Then you would have Satan. Do I make myself clear? I'm not kidding. What does under a canopy of stars mean? Oh, good one. It doesn't matter. And I'll tell you why. God dedicated quite a few verses, several pages, in fact, of descriptions of his creation. And on the seventh day, he rested. But in all of that text, he only had one line in the whole Bible specifically that talks about the stars in the first person. And that line is, and he created the stars also, period. All that out there is a footnote to God. It doesn't matter. He doesn't care. The Bible does say that he knows every star by name. He knows the sound they make when they sing, and they do sing. That's been proven. And it also says that when he created the earth, he created the heavens, and then he created the earth, right? And then he stretched out the stars, or the heavens, meaning he pulled it apart like a tent or like a tablecloth. He stretched it out. And it is proven that it is stretched out and is still stretching for that matter. Now, that means that at one time all those stars were right here close to the earth. And there are scripture that leans in that direction. Like one in reverse that says the stars will fall from the heavens to earth. Well, that just means that God will bring back the heavens that he stretched out. That sounds terrifying because there's a lot of stars out there. But I assure you God knows what he's doing. But my point is, you can look at space like a fabric, stretched out like a tent, like a thing that is over us, like a tent, because that's how God describes it, which means there's something on the other side of it, that space is not infinite. It's just over us. It's infinite to us because we'll never get to the other side of it. It's too big. But there is no infinites. There is something on the other side of space. And when God gets ready, he'll pull it all back down to where Earth is, because Earth is in the center. There's also studies that lean in that direction, and they don't like talking about it because it goes against everything they believe. But yes, the Earth is the center of all things. And everything was stretched out from it, just like God said. And that is the only way I can answer that, because I don't know much about what's beyond space. But I hope that helps. Jake, do you know? Yes, I do. Propaganda on worshiping the devil through buying a consumerism, buying and consumerism. Yes, there's a lot of that. Look at any music video. There's a lot of devil worship going on there, and movies. And ads that are put out in magazines, like the ads that have just come out recently. What is the picture of a lazy man wearing a red robe out in the cold? I have no idea. Well said, Jake. The old man looks like a glutton. Okay. I guess you're talking about Santa. Santa Claus is actually a conglomeration of about 3 different stories. one of which is Saint Nick from Germany, one of which is Klaus from Sweden. There's other things. There's the bad Santa. They made a couple movies about that. The evil Santa. Can't remember what it's. Krampus. That's what it is. That's like a Polish thing. And they all mix that all together. But it's satanic. It's anything that takes your mind off of God is not of God. It's of the other guy. So there you go. If it's not for God, it's for the devil. Is there life outside of the earth? No. That's not including God and his angels. If you're talking about in space, no, there's nothing alive out there. It just struck me the importance of this, more than normal, that is. We are actually being served the word of God because his supposed official ones failed miserably. At least for me, do not presume to speak for others here. Amen. Or you can turn that anagram on the person you just said before, Krampus. Be more specific. Wow, interesting. I asked because of Finn's poem thingy. That was his concluding clue to where his treasure was found. Under the canopy of the stars. Epiphanies are here, MVTV. No, Santa, Satan. Yep. That's what I said. I think I said that, didn't I? I believe there is life on other planets. Well, you're welcome to believe that. You will be disappointed, but you're welcome to believe that. I believe so, says Montana. Again. The reason I know that is because God created life here specifically for here. Everything about this universe is for the life on this planet. All of those stars out there have a function. They all preserve the rotation of the planets, and all that is for balance and for energy, and for whatever causes life comes from all of that. That up above us is a machine that produces life on this planet. Everything in the solar system is fine-tuned within a nanometer, meaning if it were different 1% in every direction, it wouldn't work at all. But it is perfect for the production of life on this planet, to flourish on this planet. There's nothing else out there, folks. Those planets aren't for life. They're for life here. Sorry. I know it's beautiful to think about. I'm a Trekkie. All my childhood was fantasizing about traipsing amongst the stars. But you have to grow up sometime. And the truth is, life is here. This is precious. This is God's gift to mankind. There is nothing else. If there is, it's evil, right, Jake? I don't know. I wouldn't presume to think that there's anything out there because God doesn't mention creating life elsewhere. That being said, the Bible does not say he didn't do this in other places. So it's an omission. So if there's life out there, it wouldn't surprise me because God could have tried in different places for different reasons. I don't know. I'm not God. But for as far as we're concerned, on this planet, we will never see other life. If it's out there, it ain't meant for us to meet. That's God's creation over there, and we're here, and ne'er the twain shall the two meet. I screwed that up, but you get what I mean. Ne'er the twain shall meet. That's what I meant to say. It's been proven that spiders are aliens that arrived on a meteorite. Where's that reference? Can't seem to find it, but it's true, or it ought to be. Far out. Literally far out. Wow. No, if there's life out there, we'll never see it. Also, a little bit of logic for you. And I am out of cigarettes, so I got to go soon. But let me do this first. This is important. While I do it, I'm going to smoke a cigarette butt. Think about this. Do you remember when we went to the moon? How much it took to go to the moon? And do you remember that in the last 40 years, we hadn't been back? Why? Because it takes that much to go to the moon. It's hard, right? So, if there's a planet out there that has life on it, and they built a starship that could traverse space, the vast distances of space to get here in their lifetime, then that means that they have solved all of their planetary issues. The whole planet has come together to use all the resources of the planet and all the knowledge that they've accrued for however long they've been in existence to build such a thing that could do that travel in their lifetime. They have advanced to the point where they could work together enough to build a starship out of minerals from their planet. It would take the whole planet, every continent, working in unison to make something like that happen. That means, in quite logical terms, there is absolutely nothing on this planet that would interest them. Not even us. We would look like ants to them. So they wouldn't even bother coming here. And that's just a fact. So is there life on other planets? No. I also believe we can but glimpse a fraction of the true glory and like to think the universe is full of that. Now, maybe, but it wouldn't pertain to us. That's what I'm saying. Stone spiders can't spin a orderly web. Really? That's fascinating. I'd love to see that in action. You know Pennywise as an it. Yeah. What about him? There is some circumstantial evidence that the dinosaurs died because of a meteor filled with carbon hitting the earth. Yeah, there's also some circumstantial evidence that the dinosaurs died because there was a big flood that drowned them all, which is why you find them all in the drowning position. All of them. Everywhere. Heads back, tails up, paws out. All of them. They drowned. A meteor didn't strike the earth. If it did, it didn't cause the flood. I hope we find life out there before I die. I'm sorry to disappoint you. It will not happen. But when you die, you will find life out there because you'll be taken immediately to it. So you can look forward to that. Our role is needed. I hear you. Same, Alpine. Same. Sweet. Am I the only person here that don't smoke pot? Jake can show you his fancy rolling machine. Oh, yeah, I do have one of those. Are you talking about cigarettes? Oh, I thought y'all were talking about pot. I'm sorry. My bad. I'm out of the loop. I must disagree, as we do not know all the physics. Well, I know most of them. Imagine a jungle tribe seeing a low-flying C-30. I don't have to imagine that. That's happened. There's an island of people that worship C-30s because of that. But, impossible to understand all the pieces. But they would ignore us as bugs. Well, we didn't ignore those islanders. We threw them food, which is why they worshipped us and built effigies of the planes, hoping that they could call them back. That was during the war, by the way. And they, to this day, worship those planes, thinking that they're going to come back one day. And we've actually been over there to visit them since then. And they were freaked out. But that's what not knowing God will do for you. When you know God, you understand his creation. I dig it, and I want one for Christmas. I could arrange that. That being said, I'm not trying to sound like I know everything because I don't. But I think that the right answers have been given to me. That's my thought. I'll leave it to you whether you believe that or not. I'm not trying to convince you of it, but I am going to speak as if I believe it because I do. Huger idea, though. Are we able to go to other planets? No. To inhabit? No. If we go to another planet that is similarly the same as us, there isn't one, it most likely will be like we are breathing it out of space. Sorry. No other planet has any type of oxygen on it. LOL, drowned face. Yes. Wasn't by the flood, it was from ice, wasn't it? No. If it was caused by the flood. Now, let me explain it to you, right? The fountains of the deep broke open. Well, if you drain the water off of the earth, you'll see that there's two seams that go around both sides of the earth. One is called the Marianas Trench, and the other one I can't remember the name of, but they're on either side of the planet. Big shears in the earth. And then you follow that line out to the continents, and where every continent is, you'll find that the ocean goes deep, and then it comes up to a shelf, then it comes up to land. And then on that land, if you go inland, you'll find a mountain range, almost like the continents were pushed back and they rippled up on both sides, causing mountain ranges. That's how that happened. Because when the mountains were formed, they were formed because of the deep breaking open. And that's more than 10 miles of solid rock sitting on top of water that was under the earth. That's a lot of pressure. So when that water came out of that crack, it shot straight up into space and then fell back down to earth in the form of rain. And at the poles, it formed ice because it's cold there. And that's why we have the ice shelves and the big glaciers that came down of North America and all that was caused during that time. Then we had a mini ice age after that. And for a long time, most of the planet was covered with ice. And then it all melted, and then all the water ran out down into the low places, and that's why we have oceans now. They didn't have oceans before the flood. They had seas and lakes and rivers, but no oceans. Now, that being said, there are some animals that have been found with broken bones, their legs broken, their backs broken, their heads broken, and they got food in their mouth, as if something fell on them while they were eating, like ice falling from heaven. And there you go. But yes, the flood is the reason the dinosaurs are no longer with us. And if not, if there were some on the ark, then hunting got rid of the rest of them. Breathing in outer space is not possible because outer space has nothing in it. It's a vacuum. So you can't breathe. You'll puff up like a marshmallow and turn into leather over about 30 seconds and be dead. But it's a lovely thought. Man, I wonder about that. I don't think we could handle just the bacteria and the microscopic life forms in an entirely new ecosystem. If, in fact, there were a new ecosystem, we would not be able to visit it. Think about what happened to the Amazonian people when the conquistadors came over. They just came over and looked. They didn't even come over to fight. They were just checking the land out, and they visited, and then they left. And then everybody died from smallpox because they were not exposed to it. They had no built immune system to it. So when the conquistadors came over, who were used to handling pigs and cattle and that sort of thing, had a buildup of smallpox in their bodies, and it didn't affect them. But it killed almost all of the Amazonian people. That's why all of those cities and Amazon areas are down, South America, where all the Aztec places are, and I can't think of the word. You understand what I'm saying, though. That's why they're all covered over by jungles, because all those people didn't just get up and leave. They all died. They died from smallpox. That's happened a few times in the world. That's what COVID-19 was. And the Black Plague and all that good stuff. I guess water turns to ice as it melts. LOL. No, it turns to ice when it goes cold. Sigs. LOL. I got you. I can roll some pot, but if I get a cigar, I'll take out the tobacco for my peat moss. Peat moss. You're talking about rolling a blunt, huh? That is if I had some, of course. C30, whoa. Let's see you roll, please. Who, me? I can do that. I smoke my weed with a corncob pipe. Very nice and classy. I like that. Awesome, Fab Daddy. That's so cool. You smoke peat moss, Fab? Poor brontosaurus. Poor brontosauruses. Yes, it's my medicine. Wow, I want to try that. Wow. Yeah, I see I was right. I don't know. They ID'd the actual crater dating exactly to the time of the major dinosaur extinction, but it's also accepted that created mega tsunamis that destroyed continents. Well, let me ask you a question there, MVTV. If that crater that they identified as the exact time of the dinosaurs' destruction, how come it didn't kill any rabbits? Or people? Or dogs? Or elephants? How come it only killed the dinosaurs? We know for a fact that those animals lived at the same time as dinosaurs because we can in fact find fossilization of some of them, which, by the way, fossils only form in a flood environment. Because the only way you get a fossil is to cover it over while it's still alive or just died with sediment-rich soil and then seal it off away from oxygen so it won't decay. Then it will become a fossil. Other than that, fossils do not happen. If your dog dies out in the yard, it will not make a fossil one day, even if you never touch it. But how come when that crater was formed by asteroids striking the Earth, which it may have, I don't doubt that. I say it came from the shit that was thrown up in space when the flood happened and it came back down and hit the Earth, but it could have been an asteroid. How come it didn't kill anything else? Just the dinosaurs. All of them. At once. All over the Earth. You saw Deep Impact, didn't you? When the asteroid hits the Earth and then the big fireball goes all the way around the planet. That don't happen in real life. We've seen asteroids hit planets. We saw 3 hit Jupiter not too long ago. That don't happen. That's not how dirt works. Or fire. But anyway, it's a good thought, but science has got us all a little screwy because they have been replacing God since the 1800s. And by replacing God, they have to fill it up with something else, like evolution, which is nonsense, if you think about it. But yet they teach it because they can't believe in God, because God means you're responsible. God means that you're going to be punished for your wrongdoing, and they don't want that. But I see your point. Best pipe. Won't shatter if dropped, floats, and can walk through metal detectors. Amen. That's a good one. Does it need to be rinsed and dried, or can I look it up? I'm assuming you're talking about smoking peat moss. I've never heard of doing such a thing, but it might work. Going to a similar planet to ours would be like us breathing outer space. Yes, it would. We would die from association or asphyxiation and thermal radiation because our lives are carbon-based. That is true also. I did not mean to say association. I meant to say asphyxiation. I fixed it for you. Gravity would be different. Maybe the very star sunlight, too. So many things askew that I imagine we'd feel deathly ill, like the worst hangover just standing there. That is entirely possible. I suspect that when people finally make it to Mars, they're going to want to come back real fast because it ain't going to be fun. In fact, it might even be deadly. The dust on Mars is jagged like razor blades. And if you happen to breathe any of it, it will shred your lungs to pieces. I would imagine that dust that fine would be impossible to keep out of a space habitat if you leave it even once. This is interesting, y'all. Haha. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Just like it didn't kill most smaller mammals that were able to hide, adapt, etc. And yes, all fossils are based in sedimentary rock. Yes, they are. But if an asteroid hit, animals wouldn't be able to hide or adapt. They would just be hit. They wouldn't be able to prepare for it. They don't think like that. I'm saying that it don't add up. I'm saying there's more to the story. I'm sure something hit the Yucatan Peninsula. I've seen the asteroid. There's also one in Arizona that's got a pretty good size to it, and a couple out in other countries. I don't think that they caused that much damage. Maybe in the 6-mile radius of that area, but not all over the world, and certainly didn't kill anything else because we survived it. But the dinosaurs are gone. Could it be that because the dinosaurs were here for a reason at one point, and that reason changed over time when man was created, that they slowly were phased out because that was God's first habitation, and this is the second? There are 3 Earth ages. You can listen to a Hopi Indian. They know about this. 3 Earth ages. That was the first. This is the second. We've yet to reach the third. Sure is. April. Roll a cigarette, Jake. Okay. If you guys ain't got nothing else to do, I'm just chilling. So, yeah, I'll have to go get my stuff, but I'll roll a cigarette in front of you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I could point my camera down so you could see it. The spot the comet made in Jupiter was as big as the Earth. Yes, but Jupiter is as big as quite a few Earths. So, scale it down. The H-bomb is what it's called. The H-bomb is what it's called, right? Well, if you picture what the H-bomb did and the damage that it caused, that's about right. It's probably a little worse than that. If you would imagine a big rock, you would have to imagine it because nobody's ever seen one, and there certainly has never been one hit Earth in recorded history that size. But if you could imagine a rock the size of Rhode Island make it through the atmosphere, which it wouldn't do because as that rock that blew all the trees down in Russia proved, when an asteroid strikes the Earth, the friction heats it up to the point that it explodes before it hits the ground, and the only thing that ever hits the ground is little rocks. The bigger it is, the more friction, the more heat, the less chance it has of actually hitting the Earth. Coincidentally, those 3 asteroids that hit Jupiter is exactly why Jupiter is there, because those 3 rocks would have hit Earth had they not been pulled to Jupiter by its gravity, which is why it exists, to protect the Earth. So, that being said, if you could imagine a rock the size of Rhode Island that could make it through the atmosphere without blowing up before it hit the ground and actually managed to contact the Earth, well, take a gun and shoot a bullet into the ground. That's about as fast as that asteroid will be going. About maybe 20,000 miles an hour when it hits the atmosphere, but about as fast as a bullet when it gets through the atmosphere. And look at the damage that the bullet causes to the Earth, and then extrapolate that out to the size of Rhode Island. So, if Rhode Island is 12 miles across, I don't know how big Rhode Island is, just bear with me, then probably debris would be about 3 miles out beyond that on either side when it hit the ground. It would throw debris. There is no such thing as a fire that would just surround the Earth. That's Hollywood. That doesn't happen in real life. That's not real. Understand? The worst thing that could happen is it could put dust in the atmosphere that's thick enough that it would block out the sun, and then you would be cold for a while. Planes wouldn't be able to fly. That's the worst that could happen. If it hits the ocean, it could cause a tsunami, which we've seen what tsunamis can do to Japan. It didn't wipe out Japan. A lot of people died. I'm not diminishing the deaths of the tsunami, but they are doing just fine right now, still living there, buildings and all. And that was a big tsunami, by the way, a lot bigger than most. So, I'm sorry, if you think about it, science makes a fool of itself very quickly if you consider it with logic. And I've tried to do that. I believe in some natural selection, but some normal nature adjustments after it was started. I agree with you. I believe in natural selection. You can do that while breeding dogs. Natural selection is a thing that happens. Evolution is not. There has never been a thing turn into another thing for any reason ever. 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 Peat moss is used for keeping the water up while plants are getting nutrients from the water. As something I learned in horticulture, anything with a body, because you can be used as peat moss. So what you're saying is you're smoking pot. The baby bunnies will live. Yes, they will. Whoa. Oh, peach moss. Interesting. I think he meant peat moss, but maybe he did. Some people would use their hair. Some would use coconut peat. I would use tobacco. Okay. Wow, thanks, Andrew. Well, some bunnies have 2,500-pound steel nests. Unintentionally drafts. Easy coyote access notwithstanding. Aha. I thought peat moss was another name for a strain of pot. Right. H-bomb Nagasaki. Yeah, guess what? Nagasaki is doing just fine also. Still there. Still a city, by the way. This is some good bog. I'm bogged out. What are you saying, MVTV? In 1986, I was driving on pitch dark highway 12 around Glacier Park, and the entire cab lit up with a burning meteor, big as my fist. I saw it break up in chunks and flare out. It was scary. So what you're saying is you actually witnessed the atmosphere disintegrate a large rock as it was coming into the Earth's atmosphere until it broke up into fine powder that just peppers the desert and doesn't cause much damage. So you already know that what I'm saying is true, because you saw it with your own eyes. Is that what you're saying? What, that would scare me too, MVTV. There's footage of it all over the internet. You can find it and watch it. It's pretty fascinating to watch something come in the atmosphere. About the steel comment, Alpine Gulch. Yes, I think that's what she was asking about. Saw a guy find a meteorite on the Salt Lake. Yeah, those are worth a lot of money. If you can find one, go sell it, because it's worth a lot. Darwin was among that natural selection. I think Darwin might have been a monkey. They do not eat the fish after a tsunami because they ate their ancestors. Yeah. Steal what? Ooh, that's gross. A floating meteorite. I might have one. That would be fantastic. If you got one, sell it. Oh, just yammering that those rabbits in question are nesting under that giant cargo box thingy. Anything buried shallow under the soil that can carry moisture, it can retain that moisture for longer. Very interesting, Andrew. Wow, that makes sense. Alpine Gulch says, falling star. Yeah. I'm rationing out my own moss, thus my unfocused yammer. It's available, but 13 miles of Arctic wasteland between me and it. Well, I told you to go to the store and get you a carton of cigarettes. Or a big bag of tobacco or something. A cover crop for the top of the soil, and it can fertilize the soil. Peat moss under the enrichment from the decay as fertilizer. Then there is the soil itself getting fertilized. LOL, says April. Y'all hold on a second. I finally made it to the bottom of chat. I got to go get my rolling stuff, and I'll come back and roll some cigarettes and show you my fancy roller. Listen to this good song, and I'll be right back. I'm back. He caught up. I did. Okay, I got tobacco. Else I'd be typing with my forehead. And yes, that's possible. Moisture makes moisture. Yes, it does. Believe it, MVTV. Andrew Langelis, I'm trying to learn from the rancher here that works with the fields and much more complex than I thought. Good creek bottomland, soil with clay below. Rolled one, heading outside to smoke. Those are the three. Done smoked. I don't smoke in the house. Good for you. Same, you read my mind. All right, check it out. This is my fancy roller. The tobacco goes in here. Then I pull the handle. And the cigarette comes out there. See that? All right. These are the tubes, which are empty, as you can see. All right. Tube. Shit. It's hard to do this way. All right. Tube goes on the end like that. Then I take the tobacco. I get about that much. Put it in the machine. Tamp it down with my fingers. And then pull the lever. And I have a cigarette. Fully packed. Perfect. And now you've seen me roll a cigarette. And now I shall smoke it. I don't ever smoke inside my home's tobacco, but sure can stand by the door and blow it out. Too cold and windy out there. I hear you. Ranchers don't say much, so listen. That's a gear shifter. Yes, it is. Blinks. Yes. And they make perfect cigarettes. And now I can buy 3 cartons of cigarettes for under $20. So this bag right here cost about $8. And this box cost about $3. And in that box is 200 cigarettes. So that's a carton. I think. No. Yes. I can't remember. 10, 20, 30, 40, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Yeah, that's a carton. So each box is a carton. So for $3, I can buy a carton. And $8, it uses about this much of this bag to make a carton of cigarettes. So I get about 3 cartons out of this bag. So 8 plus 3, 9, 10, 11. So about $12, $13, $15 at the most. There you go. 3 cartons for $15. You can't beat it. Oof. Hollow tubes. That won't fit in my purse. That's true. It won't. I am smoking the same kind of tobacco. Good. It's good stuff. I like the blue because it ain't so strong. I wish they'd make a lighter version of that blue, but they don't. Or I hadn't found it anyway. No, Alpine, he doesn't. I'm also here after the landlady swore off any other renters because they always needed help or rescuing. So try to be super respectful and listen. No hollow, but congrats. No hollow, but congrats. That must not have been for me because I don't know what you mean. Except my package is red, full of flavor. Yeah, the red's too strong for me. I buy it occasionally, but I don't like it because it makes me where I can't breathe. But I smoke a lot, so that's probably why. I like the flavor of it. It's just too strong. You know what I mean? But if I can't get that and I go to the dollar store, I'll buy the little bag of red tobacco, which is stronger than that. Blanks sound better. Okay. Well, they're called tubes. Actually, it doesn't say that on this box. It doesn't say anything on this box. It says king size. Regular. Premier Supermatic. That's what the box says. I've always called them tubes because that's what they are. But I like blanks. I get what you're saying. Been RYO since the early 90s. Rolling your own. Got it. Yeah, I've been doing it for about 2 years now. When I learned that this machine existed, because I went through all those little rolly things, the 2 little, it's a pain in the ass. And I'm not very good at rolling cigarettes. I went through all that in my 20s. But when I learned that this thing existed, and it's about $80. That's what I paid for mine. I mean, I'm sure they're more expensive in some places and less in others, but I paid $80 for mine. And it's made out of titanium, so it won't ever mess up. And it's sealed, so you don't ever have to get inside of it to fix it like the other one that goes sideways this way, like that. That one's a piece of junk, and it'll bend on you over time. This one, it's been working flawlessly for 2 years, no problem. I never have to get into it and fix anything. And when I learned that it existed, I bought it, and I've been rolling my own ever since. And it's way cheaper. I save a whole lot of money doing it this way. That's exactly what I have, American Club, but a small bag. They have bigger ones for $22. Small ones last me a week at $2.53. Yeah, this is the medium-sized one. It's 33% more tobacco. Right there. You can barely see it. I ripped it off. And this is about $8 here, give or take. I don't know exactly how much it is because I pay with a 20 and just leave. I don't care. It's cheaper than buying a $6 pack of cigarettes, I can tell you that. But I like the American Club. I do not like the Cherokee because it tastes like pipe tobacco. It's got a funny aftertaste, but I like the American Club. It's pretty good. The butt on the cigarette is full of filter. Yeah, it's got a full filter. Golly, I spend almost $20 every other day, maybe 3 days, but wow. If I didn't smoke, I'd be saving a lot of money. What a waste, but worth it. When I want one, I'll quit eventually. No, you won't. Don't fool yourself. You got to want to quit, and you like smoking. That's the problem. April needs one for Christmas. Yes, she does, and she may get one. Amateurs. That would be a money saver for sure. Yes, it would. One thing I really recall about that Shackleton expedition, beyond having no right to ever complain, is on their second year on the ice, it began to break up and 5 guys dropped into the sea. They all scrambled out. Okay, but one guy was absolutely out of his mind because he lost the last of his tobacco, and something about that poor guy just chills me to the bone thinking about him out there on that ice with no cigarettes. It's the worst thing I could imagine, except for the polar bear that's been eyeing him for 2 days and is about to snatch a couple of his buddies. That's probably worse. My dad, when he goes to get his tobacco, he smokes golden leaf in a pipe. I like a pipe every now and then. I got one for when I run out of cigarettes, which I don't do anymore because I have a machine. For a while, I saved my tobacco. I went through that phase, and I would re-roll, or smoke a pipe. So for about a year or two, after I saved all my cigarette butts and then I emptied them all out and made more tobacco out of them, like a recycling kind of thing. I didn't like that because it's nasty. So I quit that and bought this. And this is the thing. Yes, April. Before I clued in, it was $9.50 every 3 days. And unsustainable money-wise. I still have to learn to roll. I just jam it in a pipe. Well, you do what you got to do. But if you bought one of those machines, you'd only spend $80 once, and then you'd have a roller for the rest of your life, and it works. I can roll a carton in about 15 minutes. Probably less, probably 10 minutes. If you get busy and get to it. So I roll once a week, and I roll 6 packs, and then I smoke 6 packs, and then I roll another. Maybe twice a week. Whatever. For sure, LOL, MVTV. I'm glad I'm not that guy. Mumbling and grunting is allowed, though. Yes, it is. And I can't roll worth a damn either. I've tried, and it always looks like a humpback with 2 pointy ends. I know people that can just whick and they roll a perfect cigarette. I cannot do it. My fingers are not designed that way. And I'm pretty artistic and pretty good with my hands. I play guitar. We're talking thousandths of an inch movement here. Perfect precision. Can't roll a cigarette to save my life. Boo-hoo. I'm down to 2 cigarettes and 1 Pop-Tart. But I'm not in my 2nd year on that freaking ice sheet in the Antarctic. Just amazing endurance of those guys. Or stupidity. Or really, really, really dislike their wives. Needed to go somewhere. And would rather die on an ice glacier than listen to her yapping about the trash for one more day. I used a $4 roller, non-filters. You talking about that little thing that's got the 2 wheels that just pinch together and then roll? It's got the little belt. Man, that thing aggravated the hell out of me. I could never get it to work right. It always bind up on me or something. When it worked well, but getting it to work is a different story. Used to, not used. You actually do use, not used. You use it now. Hey, whatever works, man. I broke mine like that in 30 minutes trying to see what was inside of it. Well, if you buy one like this, don't open it. Trust that what's inside works and leave it alone. It'll keep working, but if you get inside of it, you'll mess it up. Poker Ranger. Okay. Poker Anger. Poker Anger? Poker Ranger. Poker Ranger. Poker Ranger. I don't know where the syllable goes in that sentence. I'm sorry, Alpine. That's funny, LOL. It was LOL, April. Broke the warranty. Fab is back. How do you do? Now, I broke my roller, so I fixed my roller with a plastic tobacco bag and duct tape. Hey, man, you do what you got to do. Same story. I would probably break mine too, LOL. I replace when needed. As long as it works for you, man. I like mine, but that little one will work too if you can manage it. I will save cigarette butts as pretty good if harsh backup. Yeah. Lots to recover depending on brand and how close it burns. Still ends up searching through the car seats at sometimes. Well, what I did was I smoked Pall Malls because you can smoke them down to the filter and there's this much tobacco inside the filter. So it's a good haul. And if you don't smoke it to the filter, you got a lot of tobacco to play with there. So that's what I did. Pall Malls. That's the one good thing about Pall Malls. They're strong, but they save tobacco. They were built for the cigarette smoker. My name is Andrew, but my brother calls me Honduro. Oh, Honduro, Sikavasai, Samurai. Way of the ninja. 2 different cultures. I can fix stuff if duct tape works only. Duct tape is a fantastic tool. It'll fix almost anything. This I know. I'm a musician. I believe in duct tape. El Honduro. It works better than the original. OMG, duct tape doesn't work for me either. Must be weather related, and it could be. Duct tape is the best tool on the planet. It must be weather related. I can imagine that the cold would make it not stick as well. Or the wind or the dryness or whatever. What is the way he thinks of me when he calls me that, Jack? I don't know. Maybe he's just making fun of you. Maybe he's honoring your legacy. Maybe he doesn't know your name is Andrew. That is the way. See how fast that was? Okay, gringo. We make a deal, eh? We take the gold. We take the mules. And we take the woman, too. Well, what do I get? A bullet. Do you remember my real name, Robert? What, you think I'm slipping? Your turn, MVTV, Vince. Alpine Gulch, Lily. No? Well, then you shouldn't have lied to me, because that's what you told me your name was. Don't take it. Bartholomew. I told you before. Nope. Don't make me go back and find the video. Sean. Well, who told me their name was Robert then? Is there another Fab Daddy in the chat? Yeah, it's Robert, Lily, and Vince. See, April remembers it too. Sean, that's right. I remember you saying Sean. But I also remember you saying Robert. You know what? I bet. What was that guy's name? I guess I am slipping. I tried going by Danish Riprock. Dash Riprock. But that didn't work even in YouTube chats. Dash Riprock. That's a kick name right there. What was that guy's name that Jake was going to give up my name? Julie was going to give up my name. Sepson. I bet it was Sepson that's name was Robert. I thought so too, but no, it was Painter Guy. Painter Guy's name is Robert. Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. I got wires crossed. I remembered the name, but I remembered the wrong person that told me. Sorry. I am slipping, but only slightly to the edge. OMG, dead, April. So funny. Who's Julie? Julie is a new girl, Julie Berryman. She came in about a month ago. She came in once before a long time ago and then didn't come back and then decided to come back. So, high school friend. Oh, you know Julie. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I like her. She's sweet. I wish she'd come more and talk more so I'd get to know her a little better, but I like her. I apologize, Fab Daddy, for not remembering your name correctly. I remembered someone else's name in your stead because for some reason I thought you told me your name was Robert, but apparently I read it wrong. Or my memory is screwed up. There's a lot rolling around in there, so, you know. I'm surprised I remember my name. And that's saying something because I don't ever say my name. I still may be a 12-year-old Korean girl in Guam, or identity as such if needed. I hear you. Okay, thanks. I invited her to this channel. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. Who here is dotting the T's and crossing the I's? That would be me, sir. Apparently, I don't know my tail from a hole in the ground. She is nice. I thought I scared her. No. My last name is Moravec. Unsure how to pronounce it, but it's so clunky it's hard to remember in 5 seconds. Moravec? I remembered it instantly. Vince Moravec. Of course, I have a book with your name on it, which, by the way, you can go buy his book. It's an excellent book. Anybody wants to read it, go check it out. Actually, you pronounced it pretty well, Jake. Thank you, sir. I thought that's how it was pronounced. Moravec. It could be Moravec. 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 Julie and I share music on Messenger. That's awesome. Well, tell her I said hello. I didn't realize you guys were buddies. I love your name, MVTV. I do too. It's kind of Arthur-y sounding. Sounds like an author. My name is a 4-letter word. So, you got that going for you. My name has literally been written on the bathroom wall. Four-letter word written on the bathroom wall. That's me. I love your name. There's that weird heart again with baggage. Heart carrying luggage. Or a heart riding a skateboard. My name is 2 6-letter words. Andrew Langlois. Langlois. I tried to go by a pen name, but editor rejected my TJ Slapperjack. Or Cecil DeMille Jr. Spoil Sports. Alpine. Hello? Hi, you're live on the internet. You are live on the internet. What do you mean? I'm in the middle of a podcast and you're live. I'm live? Yep. Did you like to say anything? Everyone's listening. No. Nothing? No. Well, I guess you don't want to talk, folks. Okay. Can I call you back in a few? Yeah. All right. I'll call you back. All right, bye. That was funny. Lost her desire to talk there. I like vigilantes. I do too. Batman is my favorite vigilante. My 2 plus name 4 is 6. In Desert Shield, Desert Storm, we caught a 2-horned viper. Its name was Jake the Snake. I've never heard that before. Jake the Snake got baked. You have VIP status in Virginia City here. Says Vigilante to Alpine. Woohoo, thank you. Same to you, sir. Hi to whoever was on the phone. That was Katie, a friend of mine who calls me every night at midnight. It's a little early, but she usually calls around that time. I think it surprised her to realize she was live. I hope she gets along and has herself a nice night. Whatever else goes her way. Well, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. A rich, pampered guy with lots of influence. Who? My brother was in Desert Shield, but never got off the USS Acadia, I think. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, that's what Bruce Wayne was. He could never pass his role onto his son. Well, he didn't have to. He had a ward. And they went on fishing trips. A lot. kind of strange. And his name was Dick Grayson. We kept him in water bottles, taped together with duct tape. Poor snake got left in the sun and died. That's where a snake belongs, dead. That's sad. A two-horned viper, that's not sad at all. That's ridding the world of one more problem. Although they do have their purpose. All right, folks. We have went an hour and 35 past what we typically do. It's been such a good conversation. I've had such a good time. We caught scorpions and fought them for our entertainment. That sounds fun. I would do that. Nothing to be sorry about. Was a destroyer tender, so had a job like the rest, if not on the sand or getting shot like a lot more. What you're saying is he did his job and he knew what he signed up for? Richard Grayson took on the Nightwing outfit. He was only a sidekick in the shadows of Batman. That's right. And deservedly so, because Batman was the guy who taught him how to do everything he knows how to do and saved him from obscurity and living a life on the streets alone as a child. So he had to give a little every now and then. Doesn't matter. He had no other choice. I'm talking about the wall in the lead named Batman. Seeing as Gotham needed the Batman. Yes, Gotham did need Batman. I enjoyed it, everyone. Much love, too. Good job, as always, Jake. Bow to chat. Safe travels and good evening, all. Great convo with all. Yes, thanks so much. Love. Well, listen, I love you guys tremendously. You have become my favorite thing. I hope that you enjoy this podcast. I hope that it's good for you. I hope that you keep coming back. And I hope we build this thing into a frenzy. And we make lots of waves and touch lots of people. Thank you, Jake, for the live show. You're welcome, sir. I enjoyed it, everyone. Thank you, baby. Do me a favor. When you go out into the world tomorrow, however you end up being out there, when you go out to it, go out of your way to be nice to somebody. They're not going to be nice to you. And it may not feel worth it at the time. But if you do that, I promise you, if you do that, if you just be nice to somebody purposely, it'll open doors that you didn't even know were available to you. It will change your life for the better. You'll feel better. They'll feel better. Things will start happening. It'll grease the wheels for blessings to come your way. Try that for me and see if I'm right. Until the meantime, I'll see you guys on Friday, possibly. I have a show coming up this weekend, so I may not be here Friday. It might be Saturday. I don't know yet. I have to look at my schedule, but we'll see. Tentatively, I'll be here Friday. If not, I'll see you guys on Sunday for sure. Have a great night. Thank you so much for being so interesting and having such a good chat and just being yourselves. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Have a great night, and thanks for watching.